Good evening, friends. Intro: The Golden Age of Nephrology. Welcome back, everyone. Today is August 13th, 2026, and if you are a clinician, researcher, or anyone interested in kidney health, you are living through an absolute revolution. For decades, nephrology felt like it was stuck on pause. Our tools were limited: basic blood pressure control, off-label immunosuppressants, and eventually, the daunting reality of dialysis or transplantation. But 2026 has completely shattered that old paradigm. We have officially crossed into what experts are calling the mechanism-first era of kidney care. Today, we are breaking down the massive therapeutic breakthroughs, major regulatory updates, and emerging AI technologies that are reshaping how we prevent, diagnose, and treat kidney disease right now. Let's dive in. Segment 1: The 4 Pillars Transforming Chronic Kidney Disease (CKD) Care. Let's start with the biggest conceptual shift in chronic kidney disease management. If you look at recent guidelines from organizations like KDIGO, clinical practice has moved away from just managing individual risk factors like high blood pressure. Instead, we are seeing the mainstream adoption of a unified, 4-pillared approach to comprehensively halt disease progression. RAAS inhibition, the foundational baseline we've used for years. SGLT2 inhibitors, slashing the rate of eGFR decline and reducing heart failure hospitalizations. GLP-1 receptor agonists, highlighting a massive shift as medications like Ozempic, semaglutide, expand into renal protection. Non-steroidal mineralocorticoid receptor antagonists, MRAs, specifically finerenone. The big news keeping this approach in the headlines right now is the FDA priority review for finerenone targeting adults with type 1 diabetes and CKD. This is a massive deal because this specific patient population has historically had very few options to stop their disease from progressing. The business side of healthcare is also paying close attention. While these combination therapies carry high upfront costs, health leaders are realizing that keeping patients off dialysis completely alters the economics of healthcare delivery. Segment 2: Rare Disease Breakthroughs. IgAN and FSGS. If there is any area experiencing a true gold rush of innovation, it's primary glomerular diseases. Sparsentan for FSGS. First, we have to talk about focal segmental glomerulosclerosis, or FSGS. For decades, treating FSGS meant relying heavily on high-dose steroids and off-label immunosuppression. That changed when the FDA granted full approval to sparsentan. Backed by the robust DUPLEX and DUET trials, it is officially the first indicated pharmacotherapy specifically designed for FSGS, giving clinicians a highly targeted tool for the very first time. The IgA nephropathy battle. Meanwhile, the treatment pipeline for IgA nephropathy, IgAN, is expanding rapidly with 2 major updates. Iptacopan, the 2-year data from the Phase 3 APPLAUSE-IgAN trial revealed that this complement inhibitor reduced the rate of eGFR decline by a staggering 49.3% and lowered kidney failure events by 43%. Atacicept, adding to the momentum, the FDA officially approved atacicept, Tritacna, for IgAN, fueled by Phase 3 ORIGIN data showing a 46% reduction in proteinuria at week 36. We are looking at a future where these progressive diseases can be managed as chronic, stable conditions rather than fast tracks to kidney failure. Segment 3: Precision Medicine and Proteomics. How do we catch kidney failure before the damage is already done? Historically, we relied on eGFR and albuminuria, but by the time those numbers shift, structural damage has already occurred. Enter precision nephrology. Researchers have validated a new 9-protein plasma risk score specifically designed for individuals carrying the high-risk APOL1 gene. This proteomic biomarker panel can successfully predict who will progress to kidney failure years before traditional lab work shows a single sign of trouble. Concurrently, on the genetic frontier, papers presented at global congresses are showcasing how CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing is being optimized with nanoparticle delivery systems. The goal here is to directly target and correct the underlying mutations responsible for autosomal dominant polycystic kidney disease, ADPKD, and genetic variants of FSGS. It's early, but the transition from treatment to an actual genetic cure is actively underway. Segment 4: Evolving Policy and the STAND Agenda. On the policy and public health front, the American Society of Nephrology, ASN, is aggressively pushing its refreshed Stand for Kidney Health framework. STAND stands for Start Earlier, Transform Transplant, Accelerate Innovation, Nurture the Workforce, Deliver Value. The core message of this framework is to move kidney care upstream. Right now, there is a major push to integrate routine kidney screenings into primary care models, focusing on the massive overlap between cardiovascular health, diabetes, and renal health, what the American Heart Association formally classifies as cardiovascular kidney metabolic (CKM) syndrome. General news. Today's medical headlines feature global projections of cancer cases potentially doubling by 2050, India's breakthrough in homegrown gene therapies for conditions like hemophilia, and the massive European heatwave health toll. Additionally, GLP-1 drugs show promising secondary benefits for reducing alcohol dependency, while new Alzheimer's blood tests revolutionize diagnostics. Global cancer and health crises. The looming 2050 cancer threat. According to the World Health Organization, new cancer cases could skyrocket to 35 million annually by 2050 without urgent action. Gaps in prevention, early screening, and unequal access to life-saving treatments are major targets for global health policy. European heatwaves. Public health officials are struggling with the aftermath of an intense heatwave in Germany, which the Robert Koch Institute linked to more than 5,000 deaths. India's biotech and medical breakthroughs. Indigenous gene therapy. Speaking at King George's Medical University, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh announced that India's scientists successfully engineered indigenous treatments for hemophilia and nanomedicine for breast cancer. Healthcare infrastructure check. In an attempt to maintain quality, regulatory bodies are investigating private and government medical colleges over a lack of mandatory CCTV compliance and evaluating fraudulent registrations. Pharma, tech and clinical trials. GLP-1s and alcohol consumption. Large observational data analyzed by the National Institutes of Health All of Us research program suggests patients taking GLP-1 medications, like Ozempic and Wegovy, report fewer drinking days, though causation is still being studied. Advancements in Alzheimer's. In diagnostic news, Alzpath signed a major licensing deal with Abbott to expand accessible blood tests for early Alzheimer's detection, which pairs well with recent trials for Eisai subcutaneous Leqembi drug. Digital medical certificates. Fujitsu announced the deployment of an online medical certificate integration service adopted by major insurers to instantly process insurance claims and streamline hospital paperwork. The Bacillus calmette-guerin (BCG) vaccine, commonly used against tuberculosis, changed how immune cells behaved and altered markers linked to Alzheimer's disease in a pilot study involving 2 open-label trials. MedPage Today. More than 40% of women with ovarian cancer did not have diagnoses until after an emergency hospital admission for symptoms, a study from England found. National Registry data showed that 11,377 of 28,204 women had ovarian cancer diagnoses within 28 days after emergency. Admission star. Diagnosis after admission occurred more often in women with severe frailty, those who were younger than 30, those ages 80 and older, and those who lived in socioeconomically deprived neighborhoods. MedPage Today. Outro, the takeaway. The overarching theme of nephrology today is clear: single organ care is dead. The modern kidney specialist is a metabolic, cardiovascular, and genetic partner all at once. With earlier biomarker screening, the pillared approach to chronic care, and highly specific molecular therapies for rare diseases, the outlook for patients has never been brighter. What do you think is the most exciting breakthrough we discussed today? Is it the precision proteomic testing, or the new drug approvals for IgAN and FSGS? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for daily medical updates, and we'll see you in the next video. Disclaimer: compiled information. This content is for educational purposes and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. The audience must verify the contents before use. The creator, publisher, and YouTube will not be responsible for any harm.